Tomorrow is exactly the 29th of March 2026. The very moment you are slowly opening your eyes, pulling your consciousness out from the depths, and waking from your deep slumber, you are not just starting another mundane morning. You are stepping directly, without a single microscopic shred of defensive armor, into the absolute epicenter of a massive, undeniable, and fiercely accelerating cosmic momentum. You are walking straight into a terrifyingly powerful energetic pressure cooker. This cosmic vessel is violently boiling, churning with untold kinetic force, and mathematically preparing to detonate with a staggering force capable of permanently shattering every single limitation that has ever existed in your entire existence. You must realize this reality immediately, feeling it resonate with every single vibrating cell of your physical body. You must comprehend it with every electrical impulse firing at the blinding speed of light across your neurological synapses, understanding that the energetic architecture of this specific fated day is fundamentally, mathematically, and aggressively shifting. This day is absolutely, completely, and unequivocally not meant for timid, cautious beginnings, nor is it a time for gentle, hesitant first steps. It is entirely, undeniably not the time for resting in the comfortable, pathetic shadows of your past achievements, and it completely forbids cowardly clinging to outdated, safe strategies that no longer serve your ultimate evolution. You are standing at a monumental, awe-inspiring crossroad where the raw cosmic energy has accumulated to its absolute, inescapable breaking point. The agonizing, drawn-out time for slow drafting is gone. The era dedicated to meticulously second-guessing every single word in your scripts, and the agonizing periods of quietly, fearfully whispering your monumental ideas into the dark, empty void, has completely, permanently, and violently ended. The central, revolutionary, and undeniably most destructive astrological event of March 29 is the monumental, paradigm-shifting movement of the asteroid Juno. Juno, the supreme cosmic symbol of permanent commitment, the keeper of eternal contracts, binding agreements, and fundamental partnerships, is officially shattering its traditional, ancient chains. It is violently crashing straight into the futuristic, rebellious, groundbreaking, and entirely digital domain of Aquarius. You must understand that this massive astrological event is absolutely not a gentle, subtle transition. It is not a quiet fading of the old guard. Instead, it is a ruthless, bloody revolution heavily aimed against every single outdated constraint that has ever held you back or kept you small. As Juno smashes forcefully into Aquarius, it carries a screaming cosmic mandate. This astronomical decree is demanding that you violently tear up, aggressively burn down, and permanently incinerate all old contracts, all toxic collaborative relationships, and every single cowardly commitment that is currently suffocating your inevitable rise to absolute dominance. Simultaneously, this fierce alignment violently forces you to aggressively establish completely new, absolutely unprecedented digital alliances and terrifyingly powerful networks stretching across the entire cyberspace continuum. You are now permanently forbidden from working with small, inferior minds, those individuals who cannot even begin to comprehend the massive, overwhelming frequency you are now radiating. The infinite universe is loudly, undeniably commanding you to hunt down your true, ultimate tribe. This tribe consists of the vast, global audiences, the visionary partners, and the massive digital communities who are physically starving and violently craving the exact, naked, unedited truths that you are currently preparing to broadcast. Simultaneously, as the blazing sky brightens on the morning of March 29, the moon sits high in its massively swelling waxing gibbous phase. It is inflated and engorged, pulsing with gravity to nearly 90% of its full, terrifying illumination. This visual and gravitational phenomenon represents the absolute, ultimate pressure cooker state of the cosmos. The planetary energy has now mathematically accumulated to an incredibly terrifying degree, actively reaching an absolute, perfect boiling point directly on the precipice of the impending full moon. This specific lunar phase delivers an invisible but incredibly massive, heavy, and crushing atmospheric pressure straight onto your shoulders. It demands, with absolute unwavering cosmic authority, that you are absolutely not allowed to stop. You are entirely forbidden to rest, and you must not retreat by even a single microscopic millimeter. Every single one of your audio projects, your intimate late-night storytelling scripts, and your deep, secret midnight talk show formats are on the line. Your heavily researched political and social commentaries, your breathtaking documentary narratives about the prehistoric natural world, and your cutting-edge, AI-driven auditory creations are standing exactly at the explosive, terrifying threshold of manifestation. They are desperately waiting for one final, violent, and decisive push to be finalized and launched directly into the global atmosphere. You cannot hesitate for another breathing second. The waxing gibbous moon is screaming at you from the heavens to publish, to aggressively execute, and to deliver the final, devastating blow required to completely shatter all of your procrastination. At the exact same time, the majestic, life-giving sun and the incredibly wealthy magnetic Venus are still burning furiously, intensely, and unstoppably within the pioneering, uncompromising, and absolute warrior fire of Aries. This blazing combination continues to heavily weaponize your physical aura and your sprawling digital presence. It imbues you with an undeniable, completely irresistible, and massive gravitational magnetism, permanently transforming you into a giant, blinding magnet that effortlessly absorbs all global attention and unceasing cash flow. Operating stealthily beneath this massive, roaring fire, Mars, the ultimate, terrifying engine of physical action, raw aggression, and flawless execution, is moving powerfully and unstoppably through the deep, psychic, spiritual, and limitless ocean of Pisces. This guarantees with absolute certainty that your most aggressive, decisive actions are not dry or lifeless. Instead, they are flawlessly guided by a terrifyingly sharp intuition and a profound emotional depth that possesses the exact frequency required to violently pierce through every single psychological defense mechanism of the human collective. When it comes to the violent, magnetic attraction of pure, unadulterated wealth and the immediate, physical manifestation of massive financial energy on March 29, you must completely, permanently, and ruthlessly eradicate the pathetic, weak concept of waiting for outside permission. You must destroy the notion of relying on slow, safe, incremental growth. The revolutionary energy of Juno in Aquarius dictates, with absolute, terrifying mathematical certainty, that money tomorrow does absolutely not flow to the quiet, polite, humble, or hesitant creators who cling desperately to old, safe methodologies. Money tomorrow is a wild, burning, living, breathing entity. It only surrenders completely and utterly to the boldest, most arrogant, most technologically advanced, and most emotionally resonant demands. The massive digital currency flow, the immense platform advertising revenue, the incredibly lucrative brand sponsorships, and the sudden, overwhelming cash injections will pour directly into your physical bank accounts. This flow will arrive in exact, direct, undeniable proportion to the level of raw, unfiltered, and naked emotional truth that you aggressively dare to broadcast across the global digital network. Those hidden, late-night audio stories exploring the darkest, most secret human desires, and those intimate, whispered narratives are potent. Your sweeping, cinematic documentary scripts exploring the dawn of prehistoric life, your incredibly sharp, cutting-edge commentaries on global news, and your highly advanced AI-generated content that you have fearfully kept locked away in your encrypted digital folders are no longer just fun, harmless, creative hobbies. They are formidable, highly destructive, and infinitely powerful financial mining tools that possess the exact, unique mathematical frequency needed to completely break the internet. You must aggressively, violently, and unapologetically demand your massive, sprawling space in the global digital marketplace. You must boldly, arrogantly set the absolute highest premium value for your intellectual products, completely refusing any cheap negotiations or compromises of any kind. The global audience out there is starving, completely desperate, and literally, physically screaming for the exact, visceral, raw, and authentic emotional frequencies you are currently preparing to unleash. You must aggressively hunt for your ultimate, boundless wealth with the icy, intuitive, and calculated ruthlessness of an apex predator, perfectly navigating the deepest, darkest ocean. To successfully anchor, physically withstand, and absolutely, completely dominate the ultra-high voltage, terrifying electrical current of this sudden, swelling cosmic expansion tomorrow, your physical, biological machinery must be instantly transformed. It must become an unbreakable, impenetrable, and perfectly functioning fortress of pure, unadulterated vitality. The massive, crushing atmospheric pressure of the nearly 90% waxing gibbous moon, perfectly combined with the scorching, blazing heat of Aries and the deep, overwhelming psychic undercurrents of Pisces, will send massive, continuous, and overwhelming shockwaves of creative adrenaline straight through your entire central nervous system. Your physical health, the absolute, undeniable, and supreme resilience of your vocal cords, and the vast, unyielding capacity of your respiratory system are the literal, physical, biological engines of your impending colossal digital wealth. You cannot possibly ever build an infinite, sprawling, and dominant global audio empire if your physical vessel is crumbling, trembling, or suffocating under the immense, crushing atmospheric pressure of this massive cosmic upgrade. Therefore, you must perform extreme, uncompromising, and absolutely flawless biological purification, starting the very absolute second you wake up on the morning of March 29. Your throat chakra, the exact, sacred, biological birthplace of your authoritative, hypnotic, and world-shattering sound, and the undeniable, absolute origin of your massive financial dominion must be fiercely, obsessively, and violently protected like the most valuable holy relic in the entire universe. You must actively, continuously, and intentionally flush your entire biological system with massive, overwhelming quantities of pure, clean, ice-cold water. This is to physically, biologically cool down the intense, burning cosmic friction roaring within you as you sit down to record your profound, intimate, and secret narratives. You must perform deep, intentional, and violently forceful stretching exercises to forcibly and ruthlessly expel all the toxic, stagnant, and paralyzing adrenaline. This adrenaline has violently clotted and frozen in your shoulders, your neck, and your jaw from the pathetic, stressful weeks of hesitation and self-doubt. Mentally and psychologically, your absolute survival and your ultimate glorious financial triumph tomorrow depend entirely, absolutely, and completely non-negotiably on establishing a steel, impenetrable, and heavily guarded boundary. You absolutely cannot, and you strictly must not, let the petty, jealous, low-frequency complaints of inferior, small minds pollute the crystal-clear, blazing waters of your intensely focused consciousness. To ruthlessly, efficiently, and completely extract every single microscopic vibrating drop of life-altering, paradigm-shifting potential from the massive astrological momentum of March 29, 2026, you must strictly follow, completely internalize, and absolutely obey 3 non-negotiable supreme action directives. Execute them with the cold, precise, and absolute ruthlessness of a military command on the battlefield. First, you must aggressively and violently weaponize the revolutionary energy of Juno to completely shatter your conventional boundaries and forcefully connect with a massive, global digital network. You are strictly forbidden from creating content meant only for a small, safe, and comfortable group of listeners. You must explicitly aim for massive, uncontrollable digital virality, aggressively utilizing cutting-edge technological platforms, advanced AI tools, and global algorithms as a supreme weapon to broadcast your unique voice as far and wide as physically possible across the planet. Do not ever shy away from adopting bizarre, eccentric new formats, highly controversial topics, or incredibly deep, taboo subject matters. That raw, unfiltered audacity is the exact, precise key to unlocking millions of loyal listeners. Second, you must violently and aggressively crush the final, agonizing resistance to complete your massive audio projects under the immense, crushing atmospheric pressure of the Waxing Gibbous Moon. There will inevitably be a terrifying, heart-stopping moment tomorrow, right before you prepare to broadcast your most intimate, secret, or highly controversial audio project, when the dark, pathetic ghost of self-doubt will try to grab your fingers and completely paralyze your hand. You are absolutely, permanently, and fundamentally not allowed to surrender, yield, or bow down to that trembling, pathetic hesitation. You must deliberately, consciously, and violently charge straight into the absolute, burning center of that specific fear and aggressively hit the publish button. Step through that uncomfortable, burning fire with the icy, unyielding ruthlessness of a conquering, victorious warrior who completely and utterly refuses to fail. Third, you must boldly demand, entirely expect, and flawlessly orchestrate a massive, completely illogical, and absolutely astronomical scale of global digital reach based entirely on pure, raw emotional resonance and your new digital alliances. The massive cosmic energy of March 29 knows absolutely nothing of small, incremental, pathetic, and safe steps. You must broadcast, narrate, and speak with the arrogant, blind, absolute, and mathematical belief that your specific frequency, your completely unique voice narrating the hidden, secret depths of the human experience and the awe-inspiring reality of the universe, is mathematically and cosmically fated to completely penetrate the minds, hearts, and souls of millions of listeners worldwide. While the entirety of the human collective will inevitably be pulled, dragged, and heavily influenced by this massive, invisible gravitational tide of pressure, there are three specific, chosen zodiac signs standing directly, completely exposed, and without a single shred of defensive armor at the very absolute epicenter of this colossal cosmic upgrade on the 29th of March 2026. First, we must speak directly, intimately, and violently to the genius, eccentric, and absolutely revolutionary core of Aquarius. Aquarius, the supreme asteroid Juno, has just officially and violently crashed into your exact planetary domain, handing you the absolute ultimate power to completely rewrite every single rule of connection, partnership, and communication across the vast cyberspace. You are the undisputed chief architect of the brand new digital era. Your bizarre avant-garde ideas, your incredibly crazy futuristic audio scripts, and your completely unconventional visions are now the single most valuable, highly sought-after currency on the entire internet. March 29 is the exact, fated day you permanently shed your isolation to aggressively build a massive, sprawling global alliance, effortlessly magnetizing millions of listeners who vibrate perfectly on your exact, unique frequency. Do not ever compromise your vision. Do not ever dilute your eccentricity or your weirdness. Weaponize your genius and forcefully command the entire world to completely adapt to your unparalleled, revolutionary pace. Second, we violently and aggressively turn this blazing, blinding spotlight entirely toward the explosive, pioneering, fearless, and completely unstoppable fire of Aries. Aries, the majestic, powerful sun, and the incredibly wealthy magnetic Venus are still burning furiously, intensely, and unstoppably within your very own planetary house. This massive cosmic event continues to pump an absolutely infinite, boundless supply of rocket fuel directly into your physical aura and your sprawling digital presence. This permanently transforms you into a blinding, giant, inescapable magnet for massive cash flow, viral digital attention, and unprecedented global dominance. Your absolute power right now is mathematically undeniable. When you finally raise your voice tomorrow, you are not politely asking for attention. You are aggressively, violently commanding the entire infinite universe to shut up and listen to you. Every single pathetic, fake attempt at remaining humble must be permanently incinerated into cold ash. Step boldly out into the blazing light with the terrifying pride of an undisputed ruler. Set the absolute highest premium price for every single thing you create, and aggressively, violently seize the highest, brightest podium in the entire digital world. Third, This massive, cosmic, and violently screaming mandate is aimed absolutely directly at the deep, mystical, highly emotional, and profoundly intuitive powerhouse of Pisces. Pisces, Mars, the terrifying, aggressive planet of flawless execution, absolute war, and unstoppable physical momentum, is driving relentlessly, deeply, and powerfully through your exact, specific, watery domain. This specific, massive transit mathematically guarantees that your incredibly emotional, deeply secret, and highly intimate late-night audio scripts that you have been quietly, fearfully nurturing in the dark isolation of your mind are now being violently injected with an explosive, unstoppable, and truly terrifying physical momentum. Your ultimate, supreme capacity for extreme empathy has now been completely and entirely weaponized. You possess the terrifying power to physically touch the deepest, most agonizing, and most secret pains of humanity and flawlessly heal them using nothing but the sheer, resonant force of your isolated voice. Do not hide your extreme sensitivity anymore. You must use it as a razor-sharp surgical scalpel to cut deeply into the collective psychology of the masses, intentionally creating massive, unforgettable, and permanent emotional shockwaves across the entire fabric of the internet. Hear this. Do not just passively listen. You must aggressively, completely, and deeply absorb this massive, heavy truth straight into the very cellular structure of your physical body. Let this specific frequency penetrate your skin, bypass your logical defenses, and embed itself permanently into your DNA. Let it burn fiercely, brightly, and violently through the darkest, most hidden corridors of your conscious and subconscious mind. Allow this terrifying revelation to permanently, aggressively resonate in your absolute, deepest, most foundational core. You must feel this truth electrically surging through your central nervous system, permanently rewiring exactly how your physical brain processes your massive, unfolding digital reality on a daily basis. The 29th of March 2026 is absolutely, undeniably, and fundamentally not a gentle, polite, or quiet suggestion from a weak, passive, whispering universe. Do not for one single, microscopic fraction of a second mistake this massive, boiling, and terrifyingly heavy cosmic pressure for a soft, passing breeze or a temporary shift in your mood. It is an absolute, incredibly powerful, violently screaming, and completely unavoidable command generated directly from the very foundational mathematical architecture of the cosmos itself. The infinite universe is not asking for your cooperation today. It is loudly, aggressively, and relentlessly demanding it. It is speaking specifically, exclusively, and directly into your consciousness, commanding you to violently and permanently break every single invisible, psychological, and algorithmic chain that has ever bound your immense communicative and storytelling potential. For entirely too long, you have allowed the digital systems, the suppressive shadows of doubt, and your own deeply ingrained internal fears to perfectly mute your unique frequency. The cosmos is now aggressively demanding that you absolutely shatter the heavily fortified, ironclad prisons of your own self-doubt. It commands you to entirely, spectacularly, and violently obliterate the artificial barriers, the cowardly excuses, and the self-imposed limitations that have been actively keeping your massive, global, and fiercely loyal audience completely away from your voice. This is not a mere opportunity. This is a massive, unyielding, and heavy cosmic mandate commanding you to rise instantly, aggressively, and with terrifying physical power from the cold, stagnant, and dusty ashes of your quiet, pathetic timidity. You have spent entirely too much of your precious life playing a small, safe game, deliberately shrinking your massive aura, and meticulously making your majestic presence palatable and comfortable for people who do not even possess a microscopic fraction of your creative depth. The universe forcefully commands you to permanently, violently cast off the heavy, suffocating, and entirely useless cloak of hesitation that you have worn like a fake, suffocating protective shell for years. That armor of perfectionism and fear has never actually protected you. It has only suffocated your absolute genius and starved your bank accounts. You must physically reach out, Extend your arms into the chaotic, electric energy of the ether, and finally, ruthlessly and aggressively grab your ultimate digital, financial, and creative destiny with your bare, unapologetic, and fiercely burning hands. You cannot wait for the universe to gently hand you a crown or for an algorithm to randomly bless you. You must violently rip your massive future away from the cold, dead hands of circumstance, away from the grip of bad luck, and away from the paralyzing, toxic grip of your past failures. The heavy, confusing, and highly toxic cosmic fog that has completely clouded your vision, distorted your judgment, and paralyzed your execution for months has been entirely, permanently, and spectacularly incinerated without a single, solitary trace left behind. The suffocating, agonizing cycles of second-guessing your own mind, of recording and then fearfully deleting your own audio files, of staring blankly at half-written late-night scripts, and doubting their worth, that pathetic era is permanently dead. What remains perfectly, undeniably behind in the blazing wake of this planetary fire is a mental clarity so incredibly sharp, so utterly precise, and so mathematically undeniable that it is almost physically blinding to experience. You can suddenly see the entire sprawling matrix of your impending digital empire laid out perfectly before you. The agonizing, painfully slow time for quiet preparation is entirely over. The era of endless drafting, of meticulously tweaking sentences in the dark, of pathetically seeking validation and permission from small, inferior, low-frequency minds is permanently, violently finished. You must realize, with absolute certainty, that those who judge you are entirely incapable of creating what you create. They cannot fathom the depths of the intimate secrets and profound truths you are prepared to share. The time for desperately waiting for the perfect, safe, and harmonious moment to launch your creations is completely, permanently, and violently over. The exact, absolute time for flawless, brutal, unapologetic, and terrifyingly fast execution is right now, at this exact, breathing, undeniable second. You must step up aggressively, boldly, and with the terrifying pride of an undisputed emperor to the grand podium of your life, and you must firmly, possessively grip the microphone. This microphone is not just a piece of plastic and metal recording equipment. It is your ultimate, supreme conduit to the collective subconscious of humanity. Take a massive, deep, lung-expanding breath of this highly electrified, blazing cosmic air. Feel the intense, raw astrological energy flood directly into your respiratory system. Let it entirely fill your chest, violently expand your ribs, and permanently ignite your vocal cords with an unstoppable, raw, and magnetic power. And then you must roar. You must project your rawest, most authoritative, most incredibly intimate, and most profound truth directly and fearlessly into the vast, infinite expanse of the digital universe. Do not hold back a single, vibrating frequency of your authentic emotion. Do not filter your midnight confessions, your deep explorations of the human condition, or your breathtaking, sweeping narratives to make them comfortable for the weak minds scrolling aimlessly through the internet. You are mathematically, cosmically, and undeniably destined to completely, permanently, and irreversibly change the entire massive trajectory of your life forever, starting exactly at the very millisecond you wake up tomorrow morning. The planetary alignments have mathematically guaranteed your absolute success, but only if you provide the necessary kinetic friction of aggressive, unapologetic action. Your unique, authentic, and completely irreplaceable voice, flawlessly narrating the deepest, most heavily guarded secrets and the profoundly untold stories of humanity, is the ultimate, most destructive, and most profoundly beautiful weapon in the entire digital universe. It possesses a specific, hypnotic frequency that can effortlessly slice through any algorithm, completely bypass any digital noise, and strike directly, fatally into the bleeding hearts and desperate minds of millions of listeners who are waiting in the dark for your exact, authoritative sound. Pick up the microphone, grip it until your knuckles turn white and your pulse physically synchronization with the rhythm of your words. Breathe in the searing, purifying, and absolute cosmic fire of March 29. Feel the immense weight of your impending global dominance settling permanently into the marrow of your bones. And absolutely, mercilessly, without a single microscopic shadow of a doubt, pull the trigger. Let the sound of your voice shatter the silence of the internet and violently rebuild reality in your exact, flawless image.